Adventure, it's a powerful thing, gets the heart pounding, blood surging. But then you've got a different breed, the daredevils, the adrenaline junkies. They don't just face fear, they embrace it, push it to the limits. Today we're diving headfirst into the most insane, most dangerous jumps this planet has to offer. Get ready to have your mind blown. Deep in the Venezuelan rainforest, there's a place that'll make your stomach drop just looking at it. Angel Falls. This monster waterfall plunges almost 3,200 feet. That's like jumping off the Burj Khalifa twice. Below, the jungle canopy stretches out like a green ocean. This is base jumping at its most extreme. One wrong move, one gust of wind, and it's game over. But for those brave enough to take the leap, the reward is pure adrenaline. Imagine free-falling past that sheer cliff face, the wind screaming in your ears, the world a blur of green and gray. It's like flying, like you've cheated gravity itself. But when you see that parachute open, feel that jolt and glide safely down to the jungle floor, you know you've conquered something truly extraordinary. That's what it's all about, pushing your limits, discovering what you're truly capable of. We're heading to the top of the world, the roof of the planet Mount Everest. This isn't just a mountain, it's a legend, a test of human endurance. And if conquering its peak wasn't enough, some daredevils decided to up the ante by skydiving from it. Imagine the thin air, the biting cold, the sheer altitude. Up here, one wrong move can be fatal. But for these skydivers, the challenge is the draw. They spend months acclimatizing, prepping their gear, every detail meticulously planned. Then, they stand at the edge of the world, the ground thousands of feet below a dizzying tapestry of snow and rock. The jump, it's a heart-stopping freefall, the wind whipping past, the ground rushing closer. Amidst the terror, there's beauty. The panoramic views of the Himalayas are unlike anything else on Earth. As they descend, the air gets thicker, the world comes back into focus. They've not only climbed Everest but conquered the sky above it. Now picture yourself standing on a platform 764 feet above the glittering cityscape of Macau. Below, the world seems to shrink. Cars becoming tiny dots. People like ants. This is the Macau Tower, home to the highest commercial bungee jump on the planet. You take a deep breath, check your harness one last time, and then, you leap. The ground rushes towards you at an alarming speed, the wind screaming in your ears. But just as you think you're about to meet your maker, the bungee cord kicks in, yanking you back from the brink. You soar upwards, then plummet again, each bounce a little less terrifying, a little more exhilarating. You pushed your limits, tasted that sweet, sweet adrenaline, and lived to tell the tale. That's the power of a good jump, the thrill of cheating gravity, even if it's just for a few heart-stopping seconds. Acapulco, Mexico, a place synonymous with sunshine, beaches, and cliff diving. For decades, daredevils have been launching themselves from the jagged cliffs of La Quebrada, putting on a show that's both terrifying and mesmerizing. Imagine standing on a narrow ledge, the waves crashing violently against the rocks below. These divers, they don't have parachutes, no safety nets, just raw skill and nerves of steel. They time their jumps perfectly, matching the rhythm of the waves to avoid smashing against the jagged rocks. One wrong step, one miscalculation, and it could be disastrous. But these guys, they make it look effortless, a graceful dance with danger. It's a tradition that's been passed down through generations, a testament to human bravery and the pursuit of pushing limits. And while it might not be for the faint of heart, there's no denying the sheer awe-inspiring spectacle of Acapulco cliff diving. The Swiss Alps, a place of majestic peaks, pristine snow, and people launching themselves off mountains in wingsuits? Imagine strapping on a wingsuit, feeling the air inflate those nylon wings as you stand at the edge of a precipice. Below, the valleys stretch out like a green and brown patchwork quilt, the world spread out before you like a map. Then, you take a running leap, and suddenly you're flying. Not in a plane, not with a parachute, but with your own two wings. The wind roars past your ears. The ground rushes towards you, but you're in control, gliding through the air like a bird of prey. You soar past towering peaks, skim over forests, feeling the true freedom of flight. It's exhilarating, terrifying, and utterly addictive. These wingsuit pilots, they're pushing the boundaries of what's possible, testing the limits of human flight. But for those brave enough to take the leap, the reward is the ultimate adrenaline rush, the feeling of being truly free. We're heading to the highest peak in the Alps, the majestic Mont Blanc. Now, most people would be content with simply gazing at its snowy peak, but not these adventurers. They come here to experience Mont Blanc from a completely different perspective, by paragliding off its slopes. Imagine this: you're standing on a mountaintop, the wind whipping around you, the air thin and crisp. Below, the world stretches out, a breathtaking panorama of snow-capped peaks, glaciers shimmering like diamonds, and valleys carpeted in emerald green. You take a deep breath, check your harness, and then you run. The ground falls away and suddenly you're lifted into the air, your paraglider catching the wind like a giant bird. You glide effortlessly, riding the thermals, feeling the freedom of being suspended between heaven and earth. The silence is almost deafening, broken only by the whisper of the wind and the occasional cry of a bird. But for those who dare, paragliding from Mont Blanc is an experience unlike any other. Dubai, a city of shimmering skyscrapers, man-made islands, and audacious feats of engineering. And towering above it all is the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building on the planet. Now imagine standing on the very top of this behemoth, looking down at the world below. Cars look like toys, buildings shrink to miniature size, and the desert stretches out to the horizon like a golden ocean. But for some, this is just the starting point for an adrenaline rush like no other. Base jumping off the Burj Khalifa. Imagine the wind whipping past you as you stand on that narrow platform, thousands of feet above the bustling city. Your heart thunders in your chest, every sense on high alert. Then you take a deep breath and leap. The freefall is a blur of motion, the wind screaming in your ears, the ground rushing towards you at an alarming speed. But just as you think you're about to become a pancake on Sheikh Zayed Road, you deploy your parachute. Off the coast of Belize there lies a natural wonder that both beckons and terrifies, the Great Blue Hole. This massive sinkhole, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a diver's paradise and a nightmare all rolled into one. Imagine descending into its depths, the sunlight fading with every meter, the water turning from turquoise to a deep, unsettling blue. You're entering a world of ancient stalactites, mysterious marine life, and a sense of isolation unlike anything you've ever experienced. As you dive deeper, the pressure builds, the silence becomes deafening, and you realize the true immensity of this underwater cathedral. It's both awe-inspiring and slightly unnerving. But for experienced divers, the Blue Hole is a challenge. A chance to test their skills and push their limits in one of the most unique underwater environments on Earth. The Grand Canyon, a masterpiece millions of years in the making, a testament to the power of nature. But some people don't just want to admire its beauty from the rim. They want to experience it from the air, to feel the wind in their hair as they soar above this natural wonder. Imagine jumping out of a plane, the ground thousands of feet below, a dizzying tapestry of red, orange, and brown. The air is thin, the wind whips past you, and the vastness of the canyon unfolds before you like a geological map. You float past towering rock formations, each one a unique sculpture carved by wind and water over eons. The silence is breathtaking, broken only by the whoosh of the wind and the occasional cry of a hawk circling overhead. But skydiving over the Grand Canyon isn't just about the views, it's about testing your limits and experiencing the world from a completely different perspective. Norway, a land of fjords, Vikings, and the troll wall? This sheer cliff face, towering over the landscape, is a magnet for climbers, base jumpers, and anyone with a head for heights and a thirst for adventure. Imagine standing on the edge of the troll wall, the ground almost 4,000 feet below. The wind howls around you, the air is thin, and the view is, frankly, terrifying. But for base jumpers, this is the ultimate adrenaline rush. They take a deep breath, check their gear one last time, and then they leap. The free fall is a heart-stopping plummet, the wind screaming in their ears, the ground rushing towards them at an alarming speed. They hug the cliff face, using their bodies to steer, their movements precise and calculated, but for those who do, the reward is a feeling of exhilaration unlike any other. So, there you have it, 10 of the most insane, most exhilarating, most downright terrifying jumps on this planet. We've scaled mountains, plunged into the depths, and flown through the air, all in the name of adventure. Would I recommend trying any of these yourself? Well, that depends. Are you ready to face your fears, push your limits, and stare death in the face? If so, then maybe, just maybe, you've got what it takes. But remember, these jumps are for the highly trained, the experienced, the slightly crazy. So, for the rest of us, it's probably best to just sit back, enjoy the show, and leave the jumping to the professionals. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more adrenaline-pumping adventures, and let me know in the comments which jump had your heart racing the most.